What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. In this video I'm going to be doing my post week 7 USFL power rankings, and without further ado, let's begin. Coming in at number 8, I have the Pittsburgh Maulers, who are now 2-5. The Pittsburgh Maulers were by far the worst team last year in the USFL, and right now it's trending in that direction again this year. Unfortunately for them, they lost in a close game, a high-scoring game against the Philadelphia Stars. They're not completely out of the mix. They're still there. They're only 2 games back from first in the North and only 1 game back from second, with 3 to go. So not all hope is lost, but they definitely need to start winning games. They cannot afford another loss. Coming in at number 7, I have the New Jersey Generals, who are also 2-5. And they were one of the class of one of the classes of the USFL last year. It's been a rough second year for them. Obviously, we've mentioned the key players that they have lost. The loss yesterday to the Michigan Panthers was definitely a disappointing one for them. And they are in a very much similar situation with the Maulers, where they really can't afford to lose another game now at this point. Coming in at number 6, I have the Michigan Panthers, who were able to snap their 4-game losing streak with the win over the Generals. As just mentioned, they are now 3-4. That was a very much needed win for them. And Josh Love probably played his best game since, within the first couple of games of the season. Pretty efficient in the passing game. Reggie Corbin got back very much involved, and it looked a lot more like that Panthers teams of the first couple of weeks. And their defense played pretty well, despite Breland Speaks having a quiet day. Coming in at number 5, I have the Philadelphia Stars, who are 4-3. They are definitely, back in the swing of things. They were able to get the win over the Maulers. They're 4-3. They're in first place by themselves in the Northern Division, and they are in prime position to be able to make it back to the USFL Championship. And over the last 2 games, their offensive line has really improved. So that is a huge plus for them. You've noticed, though, that the bottom 4 teams are the teams in the North, and now the top 4 teams are going to be all 4 teams in the South. That is definitely what it's looking like right now, division-wise. And then coming in at number 4, I have the Houston Gamblers, who are also 4-3. The Gamblers, they lost to the Showboats in a tough one. The Gamblers were on a 4-game winning streak. They had been rolling, but their offense in this game very much struggled. Mark Thompson was very limited, and I think that led to the issues of Kenji Bahar. They really, they set up the pass with the run game, and they were unable to be able to run the ball in there. The defense was able to keep them alive throughout most of the game, but at the end, the defense kind of collapsed, giving up that long touchdown, and it was just a tough situation for the Gamblers offense there at the end. But the Gamblers are still in the mix of things, but their main problem is they are in a tough Southern Division. Coming in at number 3, I have the New Orleans Breakers, dropping down 2 spots from number 1 after holding the number 1 spot for quite a while. They are now 4-3, and they just lost to the Stallions. They have now split with the Stallions. McLeod Bethel Thompson is not the same guy of the first 4 weeks. And I think what's a very interesting thing about this team when you compare them to other teams is, John DeFilippo and McLeod Bethel Thompson, the communication between the 2 of them is lacking. You see a lot of quarterbacks and their offensive coordinators in this league, or quarterbacks and their coaches discussing, the quarterback giving what play he wants or whatnot, and there being good open line of communication. You can notice that there's a lack of communication between McLeod Bethel Thompson and his head coach, who also happens to be the play caller, John DeFilippo, which could be part of the problem in some of these miscommunication kinds of plays. But they just need to start getting their playmakers more involved. And their offensive line was really good the first 4 weeks. It's kind of dropped back a little the last few weeks. Wes Hills has not been nearly as effective, but they need to get Johnny Dixon and Jonathan Adams more involved in these games to get back on track. Coming in at number 2, I have the Memphis Showboats, who are 4-3, have now won 4 in a row. And who would have thought this team looked like the weakest team in the league for a bit there, and now they are all the way up here in the club with the top teams. The Showboats looking really good. Cole Kelly has been the big difference. He's 4-0 as a starter. Their quarterback, Derek Dillon, is an electric player for them. And their defense over the last 3 or 4 weeks has been really good, causing a lot of turnovers. The Showboats are looking very, very good all of a sudden, and it'll be interesting to see them match up with the Stallions a second time after the first time back in week 2 getting beat by them 42-2. But the Showboats are just as good as anybody right now, and they're going to be they are definitely a tough team with that quarterback and that defense. Coming in at number 1, I have the Birmingham Stallions reclaiming the spot. Stallions have been number 1 throughout most of the top team throughout most of the USFL's return from going back to 2022. They're sitting now at 5-2. They're biting themselves with the best record, and they just look the best, but it doesn't mean they're unbeatable. Alex Magoo is really the heart and soul of that offense. Without him, that offense would be really bad. They don't have much of a running game without Magoo. He leads the team in rushing, and he just makes a lot of plays by himself, and gets people open. So they're going to need to, find a way to get something else going other than Magoo if they don't want to be completely reliant on him down the stretch. Their defense has been playing up and down throughout the year, but been trending in a better direction over the last couple of weeks. But they're definitely the team to beat right now, and it's going to set up a big-time matchup next week between the top team in the South versus the top team in the North, and also a 2022 USFL Championship rematch. So that's going to be a big deal. But the Stallions, they are number 1. But looking at I think right now, if you look at it, the season as a whole, things are heating up. We're definitely now in the stretch of the USFL season. I think MVP is pretty much wrapped up. I think it's Alex Magoo. The guys who were contending with him have kind of faded, like Wes Hills, the running back for the Breakers, Isaiah Henney, the receiver for the Marlers, and Breland Speaks for the Panthers. I think it's really Alex Magoo who's got it with only 3 games to go. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Southern Division plays out, because it's very likely that 2 teams with a winning record will not make the playoffs, or at least one with a winning record and maybe one with a 500 record, which will be a very tough pill to swallow for whatever it is. The Northern Division, we'll see who makes it in with what record. But comment down below what you guys think about all this. Appreciate you guys watching, and other than that, I'll see you guys next time.